I almost feel like it's early days. It's almost like pre-evangelization, like we're laying the foundation for them to get it, right? You know, like even the stories we tell them, the way that we surround them, it's setting up for us a platform. And I always feel like there is a golden time in the life of a parent when our kids are between the ages of 9 and 12, where we can really speak to their heart in such a way that we're still somewhat of a superhero. You know, we still have the juice, if you will, that, but that they are also at a pivotal time, right? And so are there certain things, certain conversations or actions that you would say that would kind of be that, my term may be pre-evangelization, thinking of theology of the body, right? That set the foundation for that deeper conversation that might come more in the middle school and high school years?
Yeah, I heard a quote once that said, rules without a relationship creates rebellion.
We say that all the time. Yeah.
That's true between God and humanity. It's true between parents and kids. And so I think when it comes to pre-evangelization, we need to make sure we're not accidentally doing kind of a de-evangelization. Yeah. And what I mean is good intentioned parents who want to help their kids to avoid sin or the occasion of sin might start talking about dirty body parts, or like that's a bad body part, or like, no. All of the body is good. And that's not covered because it's dirty, but because it's special and for a special use. So we've got to make sure that we're not using the wrong language. You know, even in terms of ideas like your virginity is the best gift you could ever give another person. You know, the idea is, okay, there's a beautiful intention behind that, but what happens to a teenage girl who may have been abused or made a really dumb mistake when she was 16? She might be left with the idea of, like, the best thing that I could ever give a guy is gone. And so not only am I worthless, like I am worth less because of that. And it's like, well, wait a minute, your value doesn't come from your virginity. Your sexuality has value because of you. You are the greatest gift you could give another person, and you still have yourself to give. And so I think it's really careful that we not adopt some of the things that are being protested right now of purity culture, of wanting to present these things in a beautiful way, but inadvertently idolizing certain aspects or demonizing certain aspects of our sexuality in a way that isn't balanced.
Yeah, because we're hearing that even from married couples who were raised in kind of a purity culture, who then they enter marriage and they've got still qualms and issues with marital intimacy, right? And these tapes that are playing, if it was so wrong earlier, how does it automatically become right? You know what I mean? Like just that understanding of they're missing the comprehensive and the cohesive theology of the body. And that's really what we want to do is share what I do with our boys oftentimes is early on, I just talk about our love story, right? I talk about the beauty of dating and pursuit and so forth. And that how, I mean, I don't go into physical intimacy, but just laying the foundation that we're ordered to this. We're desiring this. And when my boys come to me and I find out that we have a no dating rule, right? And so when they come to us, and I say, well, I'm glad you like girls, you know, and then this is why you are oriented towards this. But we build on this.
This is a good attraction. This is wonderful.
But you're not ready yet for a commitment or whatever, you know, that sort of thing. But at least that's what I've found as a parent is telling our story, but telling the bigger story that they're fitting into. And it sets them up much easier for that deeper conversation later.
Yeah.
Yeah, because some of them may think, I like this other girl. Is it okay to like? Is it okay to have a crush? Is it okay to start to feel feelings of love? And it's like, if we don't affirm that and like encourage, that's wonderful. Those feelings are natural and you're going to have those. But it doesn't mean that this is the right time to jump in a committed romantic relationship in 7th grade. And so we're affirming it, but then giving some clarity.
Yes. Yeah. And I really do think that in that kind of golden age that we talked, like between that like 9 and 12-year-old, where they can understand these kind of concepts and you still like you as a parent or, kind of like have a different platform right before adolescence. I think recognizing their goodness, the goodness of their attractions, like if they're feeling, I think sometimes they make girls start noticing boys before boys start noticing girls. Like, I don't know, 10-year-old boys still feel like a little bit like they're just like wild little bear cubs, like at that point, where girls are a little bit more aware. But and whatever the age is, for them to realize that these things are good, and you are good. And for you to be building up your relationship with them. So one of the things we talk about a lot is building a platform upon which to speak to the heart of your child, because it's not just one sex talk conversation, right? It's a whole series of conversations that you have with your child as they are growing and developing into going from being a boy or a girl to being a man or a woman, And could you just speak to why the parents are so important in that time of transition? Why parents specifically are so important?
Yeah, I remember seeing a survey once where they asked high school students around the country, what is the number one factor that shapes your sexual behavior? Is it the media? Is it your friends? Is it this or that? And the teenagers' number one reply across the country was my parents and what they brought me up to believe. Number one reply among the teens.
Wow.
And so one tip that I found to be helpful along the way is I wrote a book on Jehovah's Witnesses years and years ago, and I was researching it. There used to be a president of the Jehovah's Witnesses. His name was Judge Rutherford. When they first got started as the Witnesses, they would show up to evangelize at your door with a record player, because those are really exciting things at the time. And so you open up the door and wow, there's a record player. And then you would sit there and listen to a speech from Judge Rutherford, for 5 minutes and then talk about it, And at the time, that was cutting edge stuff. And it worked. People wanted to see it. But then there came a time in history where people who's that person out front with a record player? I'm not going to open the door. And they realized, okay, we got to pivot. That conversation style isn't going to cut it nowadays. And so I found with my kids, my daughter, who's now a teenager, when she was in that 9 to 12-year-old range, and I showed up at her room at, 8 o'clock at night, close to bedtime, she'd be happy to swing open the door. I'd sit down on the edge of the bed and ask her about her day, and she'd talk half hour. But then she hit something, 14, 15, 16. You show up at 8 o'clock at night to talk, and it's like, what do you need, Dad?
Yeah.
Checking in on you. I've got homework. I need to text my friends. I need to do my hair for tomorrow. And it's okay, that's not the time for her anymore.
We call that the fog. That's what I call it. They go into the fog.
But what I found is that I had to kind of drop the record player approach and try something new. And I found if I take her to a swanky little restaurant once every 3 weeks of some cool, chic little place to hang out where, a place you take someone on a first date kind of thing, cool, the Old Town Scottsdale area here. And man, she'll sit there and I'll try the little appetizers, talk for an hour and a half, and just totally open because it's just her and me. There's no annoying siblings. She doesn't need to answer text messages. And I realized I just had to pivot my approach to find where she's comfortable talking. And my boys, where is it? It's if we go up in the woods and we look for antlers together and we're out there for 5 hours, kind of shoulder by shoulder, and we can have lots of talks. And so I've just found with each kid, there's kind of different window of opportunity to have those important conversations. And it's not necessarily, I'm going to come to your bedroom when it's good for my schedule and hope that you're just going to open up.